Thank you for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. Erick making landfall, a very dangerous hurricane, no doubt. Thank you for being part of this channel, taking the time to subscribe. Everything we talked about together from yesterday, it holds for this morning and throughout the day and really the next couple days. Winds gust upwards of 150 miles per hour. So that's roughly 225 kilometers an hour. Very, very dangerous, life-threatening winds initially just over the next few hours this morning. And then we'll see the weakening as far as it hitting the higher terrain as it moves inland. Here's Zihuatanejo, Acapulco. You swing all the way down toward Puerto Escondido, and that's where the heaviest weather's moving in, especially as you work your way kind of splitting there back through Acapulco this morning with that landfall, a landfalling major hurricane, Hurricane Erick, the fifth named system in the Eastern Pacific. As it moves inland, of course, quickly weakening, but not the rain. That is a massive concern. That's going to last for days, hitting the higher terrain, and we're going to be dealing with the mudslides, sustained winds. Some of those around 130 to about 140. They've maxed out now that we're getting the interaction from the land as this moves in. All of the modeling showing that landfall and then weakening, dissipating, and then that tropical rain just feeds back through Mexico. So all of the models here, these squiggly lines over the next few hours, just continuing to weaken as far as the winds are concerned. But the life-threatening rain will continue not only throughout the day today, but also tonight and right into tomorrow. So here's the core of it, a really bad angle that this was taking, just kind of moving right along the coast. So making landfall this morning on the backside, just surging in that moisture. That rain continues to filter in and around this. And that's why I showed you that wide area yesterday where those hurricane preparations needed to be done, not just for the strong winds, but also for that intense rain. Here's Acapulco later today, Puerto Escondido. You still see those bands of rain moving in, even as this makes landfall and weakens, that feed coming in from the Pacific, right? All of that moisture continues to filter in and around through tonight and then by tomorrow morning. And then we'll see that moisture just lifting in through Mexico, up through Mexico City. Some of the rain kind of gets fed into parts of Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. I'll cover that in just a moment. Now, the winds are greatly decreasing as we go throughout the morning and then later today. Still very, very strong right now, I should say. I want to clarify that. But later today, weakening. This here is by 1 o'clock, and you see the white shading in there. Those are winds roughly around anywhere from 80 kilometers an hour to about 110 kilometers an hour. So we're looking 50 to 70 miles per hour. But later today, as this all hits the higher terrain near Acapulco, yes, strong tropical storm-like winds, but the winds more so about 50 to 80 kilometers an hour or about 35 to 50 miles per hour. And a lot of those are just gusts. So the winds will not be the big story soon, but no doubt the life-threatening winds this morning and then just watching the rain, mudslide threat in the dangerous rivers. There's the additional rain, additional totals easily of 200 millimeters or 8 inches plus, and this will just kind of feed in. You even see some of these reds popping up, interior sections, even around Guatemala. Everything is enhanced with that rainfall that continues to push in. So there is Erick, big feed of moisture through Central America. Spotty storms again, and some could be aggressive. Jamaica, back through Haiti, the Dominican Republic. We've had some rain overnight. Curacao, for example, the ABC Islands with a new tropical wave, and look at that moisture surging toward Trinidad. I want to show you some of that rain that will be moving in. It is getting more active in the Atlantic Basin. No signs of organization, but a big tropical wave getting closer to Trinidad, moving into Guyana, watching northeastern Venezuela. More tropical waves pumping off the coast of Africa. So while they're not developing initially, that's feeding in more moisture across the Atlantic Basin, and that will set the stage for further development, especially as we work our way into next month. So there's what's left of Erick as it makes landfall this morning. Shouldn't even say what's left of it. It's a massive system, as we well know. And then you see that moisture feed into Honduras, Nicaragua, and then there's some of the spotty storms, northern Caribbean, southeastern Caribbean. We'll be watching some of that rain that will be starting to move in. So as we take you through the day, could see some rain right on the edge of Trinidad and Tobago, mainly south side of Trinidad, back through northern Venezuela. But tomorrow, Puerto Rico, hit or miss storm. There's that moisture feeding into Mexico, and there's that heavy rain, parts of Belize, Honduras, all kind of enhanced enhance Nicaragua, El Salvador, Costa Rica, and Panama. And there's that new tropical wave in the southeastern Caribbean. Again, not a named system, but that could lead to some flooding as we work our way forward in through the weekend. Let's take you through that weekend here. Saturday, there's the additional rain starting to pick up over towards St. Vincent the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad, and Venezuela. And look at this rain once again building in the Western Caribbean. As of now, not seeing signs of development, most likely once again more development on the eastern Pacific side, but another surge of rain in here, another tropical wave moving into the Eastern Caribbean as we work our way into next week. That'll get close to the Eastern Caribbean, so busy pattern here on Sunday. And then I'll monitor all of this rain. I'll see how close it gets to the Cayman Islands and Jamaica. More so, once again, a significant flood threat for parts of Central America. Now, significant severe weather threat, eastern seaboard of the U.S., anywhere from the mid-Atlantic over toward Washington, D.C., lifting up toward the Atlantic region of Canada. We could get some strong thunderstorms today. And here's that moisture with what is Erick and what will be kind of feeding in. Here's Texas and watching Arizona and New Mexico, how close some of this rain will be getting. So taking you from today into tomorrow, that area up toward the Atlantic region of Canada with some rain. And then you can see how close some of this rain gets in through here, watching South Texas, most of it just to the south, but we'll start to see it kind of feed in. Here's the system in the Pacific Northwest of the U.S. and over toward British Columbia. This starts to dive in, and as it does, it's amazing how the weather is tied together. It's actually going to yank in some of that moisture from what will be left of Erick, the remnants of Erick. This here is on Saturday. And then watching Quebec, Ontario, Great Lakes for the potential of some severe weather, even isolated tornadoes as we work our way into Saturday. But there's that system coming across the Rocky Mountains. And you see how it kind of feeds in a little bit of that moisture. So we'll keep an eye on that. Those are the remnants of Erick as those feed in to the north. So we'll be watching that as we go through the weekend. As far as the seas go, things will of course, very aggressive near Acapulco, but as we work our way through the Caribbean and into the Atlantic region, or at least the passageways, I should say, of the Atlantic, choppy seas all the way through the weekend. Gusty winds, Jamaica, for example, we've had some strong winds, right? The strong winds persist because we have that strong easterly flow. Those tropical waves just continue to move in. We're still going to get, even if you have sunshine, we're still going to see some strong winds. So you get across Florida, parts of the Bahamas, Cuba, spotty showers and storms. That could be an inch or two of rain, maybe a little bit more in spots. Eastern Cuba, though, with some repeat storms, we could pick up about 75 millimeters of rain. Watching out for a hit or miss storm. Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Haiti, the DR, and Puerto Rico. Still some of that Saharan dust that is mixed in back toward the northeastern Caribbean. You see a little bit of that blue on the map, so we may catch a passing shower, St. Kitts and Nevis, Anguilla. But there we are on the edge of the rain in Trinidad, especially south side. The next few days, we could get some totals of 100 millimeters of rain. Some of those rivers still swollen from some of the previous rain, right? So we could see some additional flooding starting later this weekend into next week, even some today, but more so into next week as we see this surge of moisture pulling in from the Atlantic, these tropical waves going over some of the same spots. So heads up in Trinidad, northeastern Venezuela, Guyana, even parts of Suriname with some heftier totals the next few days. This in through here, still some dangerous rivers, parts of Honduras, Nicaragua, Providencia, San Andres, the Corn Islands. Watching out for some totals upwards of 150 millimeters of rain over the next 3 days. Areas of flooding isolated around parts of Belize. And there's that rain just feeding in, even coming off the Bay of Campeche into the east coast of Mexico. We could have some totals around 200 millimeters of rain enhanced from the remnants of Erick as that all lifts to the north. Flooding in Mexico City is going to be likely as we go over the next few days, and then watching out for some scattered storms across parts of the southern and southeast United States. So hit or miss shower storm across Jamaica, 20 to 30% chance over the next couple of days. Same thing in the Cayman Islands. We could catch that passing shower. That'll be a possibility. Rain chance starts to build. Again, it's really going to be split. Drier to the north, wetter to the south. So while it's a 50% chance of rain today, higher chance in Trinidad versus Tobago today, and then it builds builds as we get deeper into the weekend. Spotty shower possible in Barbados. Couple spotty ones around. That'll be possible as we work our way back through St. Lucia. About a 40% chance. 40% chance as well in Grenada. And some isolated passing showers possible. Same things to the Grenadines. But building Sunday into Monday, we'll start to see some of that rain that will be moving in. Holding on to a 40% chance over the next 3 days in Martinique. A 30 to 40% chance of getting some rain in Dominica. About a 40% chance today into tomorrow back through Guadeloupe. So rain chance kind of spotty in nature, and we swing to the north. This is where we have some of the dust. So Antigua, Barbuda, the rain chance not as high. 30% chance. That would be a passing variety today. St. Kitts and Nevis over through Montserrat, and you see the rain chance very, very low. Anguilla and St. Bart's staying low. St. Martin, Saba, and Statia. We work our way back through Puerto Rico. A lot of us stay dry, but others could get a few stronger storms. If we get a storm, it could be on the strong side the next few days. Mainly dry back through the British and U.S. Virgin Islands. Slight chance of a shower and watching some of that dust around. Bahamas, spotty shower, storm, 30% chance. Turks and Caicos, we're mainly dry over the next couple of days. 30 to 40% chance back through the Dominican Republic. And as we work our way into Haiti, rain chance less, running at about 20% for tomorrow into Saturday. 60 to 70% chance of some rain around Belize. Some heavier tropical downpours. Monitoring the flooding. I'll be watching out for your comments. And Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire, spotty showers are actually going to be picking up further. Now, we did have some rain. We still have some rain around. This would be some additional stuff. So Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire, I mentioned, we've already had some rain around from overnight and early this morning. Guyana, rain chance stays high. It's getting higher. Right? So watching the flooding, especially closer to the coast, 70% chance for today in Suriname, 30 to 40% chance in Cuba, favoring eastern sections with some of that daytime heating, 70 to 80% chance. Monitoring the flooding, Costa Rica and Panama, watching those rivers, some of the mudslides possible in parts of Nicaragua, and monitoring the flooding in Honduras, especially eastern side. That's where we could see some higher totals. I'll be watching your comments throughout the day, monitoring those areas of tropical rain back through Guatemala and El Salvador, and about a 70 to 80% chance with the flooding. It's going to be likely in and around Mexico City, especially building tomorrow right through the upcoming weekend. 40% chance back through the Yucatan Peninsula, Cancun, Cozumel, Merida, and Campeche. Northern Colombia, rain chance 40%, and then building as we work our way back through northern Venezuela, and a spotty shower possible, just a few tail ends of fronts near Bermuda over the next few days. So all eyes, no doubt, on Erick this morning as it makes landfall in Mexico with a life-threatening flooding. Several new tropical waves moving in. I'll be monitoring for any tropical development as we go forward. Thank you for being part of this weather community. Have a good rest of your day.